Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mamaverse Podcast, where we bring experts in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual wellness to talk about how moms can improve their overall health in their daily life. I'm your host, Hoo-Hien Lee, and our guest today is Khristee Rich. Khristee is a holistic health expert, healer, and writer who advocates for women's health and wellness. With over 20 years as a researcher and 17 years as a holistic expert, she empowers women to heal their chronic conditions and trauma using the natural medicine of the earth, so that they become healthy, joyful women and make the impact they desire in their lives. She's currently writing a 3-series book on childbirth around the world. Welcome, Khristee.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you for joining us on the Mamaverse.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So I'd love to dive right in and learn more about how you started on this journey of holistic health and wellness.
Sure. So it's a very interesting journey. I never planned to become an entrepreneur. I never planned to go into health and wellness, but I had my own journey where I developed a debilitating chronic illness and I couldn't get well. So I was sick for 15 years and I really struggled. Yeah, 15 years. And I went to all the best doctors in Connecticut and New York City, because that's where I was living at the time. And I wasn't getting the answers. So it was very frustrating. They were labeling me with depression, and then I kept going back and they labeled me as a hypochondriac because I wanted further testing. And so finally, I decided to go the alternative route, and I got into alternative health and wellness, started exploring that for the first time ever, went to an acupuncturist, went to so many different practitioners and healers and learned so much. And it was because of that experience, because my doctors had basically said, okay, you look fine, the blood is fine, you just got to take this medication, otherwise we can't do anything for you, that I realized I had to become my own health advocate. And I realized intuitively, again, I didn't know anything about holistic health and wellness at the time. I understood that there had to be a reason why a girl who had been healthy all of her life and was in the prime of her life suddenly got sick and couldn't get better. So I made it my mission to find out the root cause. And I knew that once I found out the root cause, I would be able to heal myself. So long story short, it wasn't until the end of 15 years that I found a doctor who actually believed me, because again, a lot of doctors thought I was a hypochondriac. And even I forgot to mention, there was a doctor who did finally diagnose me, but again, misdiagnosed me and said that I had fibromyalgia. So I went through so much over the 15 years, but not getting answers, not knowing how to treat my condition. So finally, I found a doctor who discovered the root cause, was willing to do further testing, and found out the root cause, and it was heavy metal toxicity.
Wow.
Yeah, I had the highest he'd ever seen of lead and mercury, off the charts. And so he said it would be a full year of chelation therapy, that was the only treatment for drawing out the heavy metals. And so it would be a full year, if not longer, of going to a toxicologist weekly in New York City. And I was amazed that this had happened, that no one had found this out earlier. And I looked up the therapy that was recommended, and I found out that it could possibly kill me. So it was very controversial. It went between the blood-brain barrier, and it could cause paralysis, brain damage, and even death. And so when I discovered that, I said, no, I said, there's no way I'm going to go through this treatment, which could make me sicker than I had been for 15 years. I was going to heal myself naturally. I was going to find a way. So I went onto Google, I found natural food and supplements that I could take daily. I took them daily, and I decided to create a nice healing plan where I meditated daily for the first time ever. I'd never meditated before, didn't even know how to meditate, and went out for a walk every day and just filled myself up with positivity that I would get well in 1 month. and they were drawing my blood every 3 to 4 days because my levels were so high, and they were worried that I was possibly ingesting it and it was going up. And instead of it going up, it was going down, down, down until the end of the month. It was zero and the heavy metals were completely gone.
Wow. Oh my gosh, what a story. So, did you ever find out the cause of your high levels of?
I
No.
didn't. I didn't. Never discovered that. I had my own theories. I have
Mhm.
a theory that perhaps when I went to the dentist, I had, the silver amalgam fillings. Maybe when they had put in a filling, I got some of the silver, shavings and I swallowed it accidentally or something like that had happened. As far as lead, all I can think of, maybe I got it from the water because I know it is in water. And later on, I did test the water in my town and found out it had been reported in certain places that lead was discovered. So it is possible that perhaps I got it from the water, but I don't know for certain.
Wow, that must have been so emotional thinking about how to heal when also you didn't really know what was wrong and you didn't really
Yeah.
know what caused it and you just had to rely pretty much on your intuition to figure out what felt right to you. So
Yes,
what was the first step that you took that was more like towards natural healing? Was it the acupuncture or did you
it
just
was.
stumble upon the book or did somebody introduce that to you?
The first was the acupuncturist. So I went to him after my doctor said he wouldn't do any further testing, that I was depressed and I had to take the antidepressants, or that's all he could do. And so the first time ever, I went to acupuncturist and was open to hearing his perspective of why I got sick. But I was surprised that instead he just said, I think you're just stressed, have more fun. So I knew that that wasn't the answer either. So that's why I went to so many different practitioners and so many doctors over the 15 years.
Wow. Wow. And so pretty much after that month of you eating, being more intentional, I guess, on your diet, what you were eating, meditating, your levels went down. And then since then, that's what you've been practicing.
Yes. So since that time, then I knew that people could heal themselves naturally. And I actually moved out to California for 5 years because I was so happy to get back to my life and socializing, having fun. And I realized that I had to prioritize my health daily in order to sustain it. I didn't want to go back to being sick. And I also had to realize it wasn't just the physical body, but it is holistic. So it's mind, body, and spirit. And so I had to make sure that I was taking care of my well being, that I was happy, that I was taking care of my spiritual life. And it was through that process I said, I want to empower women. I want to help women to know they can overcome their chronic illnesses and chronic conditions naturally. Okay. And this is what I saw while I was sick. I talked to so many women who had chronic conditions and chronic illnesses, and they had been told the same thing. I had been told that, okay, you have an incurable disease. There's nothing we can do for you. We don't know why this happens. There's no medication. You just have to accept it. And so many of them were misdiagnosed, and so many of them just struggled for years, not knowing how to get better. So then I said, I'm going to empower these ladies. I'm going to help them. And then that's what I changed my business into, health and wellness.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I want to know more about how you're working with your clients. You're working mostly with women.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you say that you help them with chronic conditions and chronic illnesses. So what like range of conditions are we talking about here? Like,
Oh, I've helped people with so many different conditions over the years. So, I mean, just about everything from anxiety, from,
mm,
wanting help with skin conditions, different skin conditions, psoriasis, rosacea, upset stomach, even cancer patients. So the first patient I ever had cancer. Just so many different things. Fibromyalgia again has come back. Just about anything you can think of, any conditions and any illness. I have had clients come and said, I've tried everything. Khristee, can you help me?
mm-hmm. So when you're working with these clients, like what's the first thing that you're like trying to discover?
The
Or
root cause,
okay. So it's
right?
just a
So
lot of understanding their lifestyle and what they're eating, all that.
So, for holistic health and wellness, it's very important for everyone to know that it's about getting to the root cause. Once you get to the root cause, every health condition has root cause. Doctors may not tell us this, but once you get to the root cause, then you can know where to go. So unfortunately, we've been brought up, okay, you have the symptom, let's treat the symptom, but it's not understanding why that began and how all these other symptoms are happening. So what I do is I really sit down with them and I hear their whole health history from when the symptoms began. Okay, to really understand what was going on at that time in their life. Were they really stressed? Was there a death in the family? Was it an accident that happened? Okay, and then understanding what they have already tried. And then from there, giving them recommended action steps. So it's very deep. I really make sure that I sit down with them, have some talking time, also support them emotionally, because I feel that a lot of women can't express if they're going through a hard time. Like nobody wants to hear it, only go to your therapist. You can't share it with others. So that's part of the healing too, is for them to just express their frustration, their sadness, their anger. Okay. And then I take them through a whole healing journey. So I share my powerful energy work with them. I'm an energetic healer. I do a combination of Reiki and shamanism. So I've created this beautiful blend. And then after the healing session, then we have more time to talk. And that's when I really share my intuition. I share, all of my tips and tools from, 15 or over 20 years of studying holistic health and wellness. And so then I share my visions. I'm also clairvoyant. So I share that helps them to see in a different way what's going on, both emotionally and also in their life. I can even see into their past, into their childhood, to understand how things have, resulted from that time period. And also possibility of the future too. I'm also psychic. So I connect with the divine. I give them recommended action steps from a higher place. And this really helps to empower them. Okay, because I really want them to know they can take steps. It's all about them being their own health advocate and taking consistent daily actions.
Yeah. Wow. You just named like 10 different tools that can help women in their journey. So I'm going to back up a little bit, because you mentioned like women going through different trauma in their lives, whether it was death or something that happened, and that can manifest in their body, in their life, as some sort of as an illness as well.
Yes. So a lot of people don't realize that, but oftentimes illness starts off emotionally. So unfortunately, in our culture, we are trained to suppress our emotions. Just keep going, just be productive, just, put it on the chin kind of thing. But really, if you have had trauma, if you've had something really hard happen in your life and you haven't been able to resolve it and to heal it, then it goes into the body. And then the body will then create symptoms, being like, okay, you haven't addressed this yet. What do I have to do to get your attention? So the body is wise. This is also what I want to educate women about, is our body is wise. It's not faulty. It's not broken. It's not, not making any sense. It is wise, and it always wants to return us to health and wellness. Sometimes it needs some help, okay? And that's what we need to do, is we need to help it a little bit. But if you understand that first, by addressing your emotional well-being and healing that, a lot of times you may not develop a chronic illness. So that's why I really want to understand what's going on emotionally, and if there's unresolved trauma, to heal.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And then you mentioned you're also energetically healing, Reiki. And I think you mentioned something else. And shamanism. That's right. So can you touch upon that a little bit? I only know, my knowledge of it is quite limited. So I'm curious myself, and maybe the listeners are also curious as well.
Sure. So I started with shamanism. Shamanism is a little bit different from Reiki. They both will balance your chakras. So we have 7 major chakras. We also have minor chakras. In shamanism, I studied Russian shamanism. There are many different types of shamanism. A lot of people kind of do a fusion, but Russian shamanism is also about really connecting to Mother Earth, to really feeling the power of Mother Nature and knowing that she is supporting us, to be grounded, connected to the earth, and also to be, realizing we are yin and yang. Okay, so we are feminine, we're masculine, And yeah, I just love shamanism. So with shamanism, you can really heal through the power of imagination. I also use a lot of breath work with my clients to help. And with Reiki, it's very specific system. It's 26 different hand positions. It heals the organs. It heals the aura. So we have an auric field around us. It also balances the chakras, as I mentioned, and you set the intention. So it's very important that when you go to a healer, you always set your intention of what you wish to heal, and that directs the energy.
Okay. So for some people who may not be as familiar with these different options, it might seem kind of overwhelming. Like, I don't know which one I should do, which one is better, which one's best for me. If you could give a tip to a mom who's looking to heal more holistically and wanting to get more in the energetic side, what's the first step that they can make?
So do you mean how to choose a healer or just how to step into holistic health?
How to step into it, into the holistic healing. Yeah.
So let's see how to step into it. Well, of course, you can seek out a healer such as myself. That's very helpful to have a guide. You can, of course, read books. You can do different things that you know will balance you, mind, body, and spirit. So yoga is a very wonderful practice. Not all yoga is spiritual, but I do Kundalini yoga, which is, mind, body, and spirit. I absolutely love it. And it's all about, understanding that we have the power to heal ourselves. And it's very important what we put into our bodies. Okay, very important the food that we choose. Food is medicine. And it's also important to know that even the skincare products, body care products we put on our skin, we need to be mindful. We need to read those labels. We need to see if it's full of toxins or if it's full of natural ingredients. So everything that we do either contributes to our health and wellness or contributes to illness. So it's very important that we're mindful and not just saying, okay, I'll just take this and eat this, or I'll just put this on my body, and I'll just spray this in the air. You got to be mindful. Is it healthy for you? Is it going to help you or not? So it's just about, slowly starting to take steps. Because again, I didn't know everything in the beginning when I started. So it's just about being curious and seeing where you're led.
Yeah. Can you speak a little bit to your clairvoyance and psychic capabilities? I'm so curious about this. What's the difference?
So clairvoyance is clear seeing. So I actually see visions during the sessions. So this is something that I didn't develop until I think it was 2011. It's very interesting because my grandmother was psychic and I always wanted to be psychic like her, but it wasn't until I started working with clients in San Francisco and really trusting my abilities as a healer that it started to come through. So clairvoyance is clear seeing. Clairaudience is when you hear messages from spirit. So I'm not really very clairaudient. I'm mostly clairvoyant. Psychic means that you can see the potential of the future. Okay, so as I mentioned, I can see in sessions, I can see into someone's past. I can even see into past lives if they're open to that. And I can see if they take the actions that I recommend, what will happen, what their future will be like. So that's psychic. It's kind of like seeing with what you're given, what you're doing right now, what the future will be. But I always say, you are a co-creator with the universe. So it's all about what you do. So at any time we have free will, we can take a different action and that will create a different future.
Yeah. I feel like that can be scary thinking about what's going to happen in the future before it happens. But but what you said, you're still able to co-create. It's not just set in stone. Did I get that right?
Yes, you're always able to use your free will. We do have free will for a reason. Our paths are not completely predestined. We do have a life purpose, but we have control. We have the ability to change our destiny if we wish. So when I share what may be the possibility, it's always, again, from a higher perspective to empower and inspire. I never instill fear. So again, when women are choosing a healer, it's very important that you find somebody who you feel comfortable with, who you trust, and who is inspirational and encouraging, not, trying to control you or spread fear. If so, stay away from that person.
That's like perfectly leading into my next question, how you mentioned that you want women to be their own health advocate. Can you touch upon that a little bit more?
Sure. So that is the reason why I believe that I overcame my chronic illness, was even though the doctors basically gave up on me, I realized that my health was important, that no one was going to value my health as much as I did. So I had to do everything to defend my health. And so every day I was looking for answers. I was doing research. I was, still trying to find the doctor who would do the further testing. And I wasn't going to stop until I got the answers. So I think a lot of women do give in and say, oh, well, they said it was incurable, or, oh, nobody's been able to help me. It's been 10 years already. Guess I got to accept this. And if they're given a diagnosis, they often believe the limitations of the diagnosis. So they may hear, oh, well, with this, then you're going to have to cut down on your physical activity. Or with this, you're going to have to, I don't know, there's so many different scenarios. But we really need to become our own health advocates so that we can improve our health and wellness. So keep on, doing everything you can, prioritizing daily for your health and wellness.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Khristee, this conversation has been so enlightening. I know it's been so educational for me, and I hope the listeners
Sure.
also they're definitely going to take away a lot of educational nuggets from you. I want to know if you could give moms one piece of advice to improve their overall health and wellness, what would it be?
Well, I would definitely encourage them to pursue a holistic perspective. So, to again remember, it's not just about treating that physical body. It's not just about this is the symptom. What can I take for it? What medication can I take? But it's the mind, body, and spirit. Make sure you are balancing all of them. Okay. And a lot of people may say, okay, well, I'm going to a therapist. Okay, well, I'm going to the doctor, but they forget about their spiritual life. They forget about their joy. Okay. So we must have all three. And I'll just also throw out another one. I know you said just one tip, but I really think it's important for us to also detox. Okay. Because again, as I mentioned, there's so many toxins all around us that we don't even know how many chemicals we're being exposed to, so many more than, hundreds of years ago. So I really encourage for everyone's well-being to detox regularly. Okay. It's very easy to do, and it's very good for the body.
What kind of detox? We're talking like diet detox or?
Well, there's many different types of detox. So
Okay.
that's something I do teach my clients. But really, the liver is, I believe, our most important organ. So I do a lot of liver detoxes. So I teach my clients how to do that. And yes, you can do that through food that you're taking. You can do it through herbs and supplements. You can do it through so many different lifestyle changes. But I really believe it's important to do a detox so that you stay well, and also so you can prevent illness and chronic conditions.
I love that. This is such great information. I know I'm personally going to start researching more once after this episode. Khristee, is there anything else you would like to share with the audience before we wrap up?
Sure, thank you. I would like to share that I am writing my first book series. It is a series on childbirth around the world through a holistic perspective. So I'm super excited about this. I interviewed about 70 moms and childbirth experts around the world, and I've captured their stories and their interviews. And I think it's really going to empower women and also to help them to see childbirth from a holistic point of view. So I really believe that that is missing from the conversation, that women may not be able to understand how that can correlate, how you can have childbirth and how it is holistic. So very excited about that. And I just want to invite everyone, if you are interested, if this was really interesting for you to hear about what I do as a holistic healer and as a holistic health expert, I invite them to reach out and to connect with me and to learn more about how I can help them if they have a chronic illness, if they have a chronic condition or trauma that they've been trying everything to no avail to overcome, to reach out to me. So I can help them. We can work one-on-one together. We can also work together through a group program. I have many digital programs coming up that I'm super excited about, but I absolutely love the work that I do, and I love helping women, and I love to empower them. So again, want to invite anyone who's interested to reach out, connect with me. You can even set up a discovery call to see if I'm the right fit for you.
Yes. Thank you so much. We will have all of your contact info and links all in the show notes in the description of this episode. Khristee, thank you so much for sharing and imparting your knowledge in this short episode. I feel like we could go on for another couple hours just diving into each one of those topics. I'm so thankful to have you as a guest on the Mamaverse. We want to thank all the listeners, and that we are excited to bring on all these wonderful guest wellness experts onto the show, and that we will see you on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.